Hey y'all. All right, so I am back with another episode of Think Deep. All right, so this Think Deep, we are going to be talking about social justice. All right, as a African American, social justice is always going to be a hot topic. It's always something that people of color, minority, or whatever the case is, should be thinking about because it's real and it's very there's a lot of social injustices happening in America. So the first question, I get my notes out, guys. Hold on for me. All right. So the first question is, what is social injustice? My arm itch. What Webster says is social justice is justice in terms of distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges within a society. All right, so we break this down. Typically, who is at the top of social justice? Caucasian people, male and female. Typically, male is right there at the top. Female is right there at the right underneath them. Because even as a Caucasian female, you still have way more privileges and opportunities presented to you than someone that is African American, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, or whatever the case is. So to be able, basically, it's what social justice is access. You know, being able to get things that are what you think is an American right, but not actually. That it's only certain opportunities that are meant for certain people, which is crazy to me. What do you guys think? What else could social injustice include? So right now we got wealth, we got opportunity, we have privilege, and things of that whatnot. So social justice is definitely real. Now, to what extent does power or lack of power affect individuals? All right, so this comes in where the lack of power, so the lack of social justice, the lack of opportunities, the lack of privileges, how does this affect people? And it affects people in various ways. Because it was like this when I was in Buffalo. The nicer areas always have the cheaper things as well as more selection. So suburb areas always have nicer things. You go into the hood, you are going to find a grocery store there, but they're going to have the bottom of the barrel produce. They're going to have bottom of the barrel selection or whatever the case is, and their prices are going to be higher. So the people in that community, they don't have that power to go to their city councilman or go to someone that's in charge of their area to say, hey, how come over here in Amherst, which is a suburb of Buffalo, these people pay this much while I'm over here in Jefferson on the east side or Cold Spring area and I have to pay this much? Nobody's gonna pay them any attention. And that's sad to say, but it happens. And it's set up like that in every single state in America. Like, please tell me a state that is not set up like that. All right, because we got Flint, Michigan still with dirty water. Like, those people have been complaining about that water for years. People, and then Flint still expects them to pay their water bill. Are you serious? You still want me to pay you for some undrinkable water? Some unusable water? I can't cook, I can't bathe, I can't drink this water. This is the government's responsibility and y'all still can't get it together? They have been suffering for months and still nothing. So it is something that affects people on a case-by-case basis. So like it says here, to what extent? This is all the way to the extent of livelihood. The lack of power could not present the opportunities that they may need in order to succeed, which is horrible. So that falls into the next question. What is oppression and what are the root causes? All right, so what oppression is prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. The state of being subjected to unjust treatment or control, mental pressure or distress. Now, we have been oppressed for a very, very, very long time. And to just think about that definition, to go through a prolonged period of unjust treatment. We've been going through this for over 400 years as African Americans. Hispanics are still going through it. We are still going through it. We have Middle Easterns now. They are going through it. And I'm saying Middle Eastern in regards to like Iraqi, Afghani, Pakistani, people that are from terrorist areas. It's crazy because people come to America for opportunities of social justice. So it's like, so people come here to get those opportunities that may not be available in their country, but the people that reside in this country don't even get as many opportunities as the people that came over here because they wanted to, versus us who have been put here, our ancestors, not me particularly, but our ancestors who were brought over here by force. So it's like, you guys are oppressing people that y'all brought here. You know, and it still goes on to this day because we still have those stereotypes around us that is threatening to the majority race. And even with the statistics showing that the minority right now will be the majority in a couple of years, because as soon as you mix anything with black, it's black. I don't want you to think anything other. Like, you can be biracial, but I guarantee if you got any melanin in your skin and someone sees you, you're black. You meet the right one, they're gonna treat you like shit. Bottom line. I'm in South Carolina now. I have ran into, not necessarily like front on racism, but just little gestures that if you wasn't paying attention, you wouldn't have known. You know, like they say down here, is Southern hospitality? No. Okay, because you still got people that won't move out your way, that don't say excuse me, that walk extremely close to you for no apparent reason, and it's just rude AF for no reason. It's crazy. So I think oppression, and the root cause of oppression, is the idea that one person is better than the other. And then if you start to spread that idea, because that's all it is, an idea. It's not like it's something that's written in stone, or it was a part of anything holy or anything like that. It's the idea that this race is better than this race. So when you start to get the majority of the people thinking that way, and you don't even have to tell, like in this day and age, you don't even have to tell them. Because a lot of times Caucasian people, even if they're not racist or anything like that, they're very blind to their own privilege. And when you bring up their privilege, they get offended because they're like, well, what do you mean? I never thought I was better than anybody. And I get that. You may not have thought you were better than anybody, but just because of the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, the length, the texture of your hair, that's where it didn't start with you. It started way back when people started to settle into this land. They came onto this land and they said, all right, well, we're the better race because we have this, and this, and this, and they're living, and these Native Americans are living like savages. So we know we're better. And it's just been that idea for hundreds of years. And it's crazy. It's been that idea for centuries. So it's going to continue to carry on, but how do we stop it? That's, I think, is the bigger question. How exactly do we stop it? Because you still have those people that are teaching their kids, and their kids are teaching their kids. People out here that's spreading those ideas throughout. And you know, certain ideas, even though we aren't passing on wisdom through generation, the bullshit ideas seem to pass down. So the next question is, how are prejudice and bias created, and how do we overcome them? Prejudice and bias, I think prejudice is something that's taught. And I think how it becomes taught is that someone makes up a stereotype in their mind on what they think a race should be because they saw a group of that particular race act that way at one point in time. That's it. So if they saw a whole bunch of black girls and they were loud, they assume all black women are loud. They see a whole bunch of black men being thugs and, you know, very passionate, getting loud, or whatever the case is. They think all black men are thugs, especially the darker your skin gets. It's crazy to see how people react around darker skinned men, like if it's a group of them, or that's so much power, and that scares them. So since that scares them, they feel threatened, and if they feel threatened, it's a problem for everybody. Just crazy. How we overcome it? At this point, I have no idea. Because even if you start now and you start to spread the idea that humans are humans regardless of race, and start looking at people's characters, Martin Luther King has been trying to do this since he was alive, and it has yet to come full circle. And I don't think it will ever come full circle. Doesn't matter that we had an African American president. In some regards, he was oppressed being even a president, because he wasn't able to do half of the things that our current president has been able to do, and that man ain't been in office for very long. So it's like, it's so much easier to break things up or tear things down than build them up. So that's why they continue to do it. I think that if you move within a community, because the community I live in right now is very diverse. If you live in a diverse community, because you still have places that you will get denied residence if you are a particular color. Don't think them places don't exist, because they do, or whatever the case is, because you still have that where, and even if you are accepted because you make a certain amount of money and you're able to afford the place you live in, don't let you come in there, you know, with your loud music. You're getting pulled over, and the cops aren't going to believe you that you live in that area, even if you go to the house and open the door with a key. So, social injustice, prejudice, bias, oppression are things that I feel like you are going to constantly deal with if you are anyone of color. There is no way around it. I just feel that if you individually react a certain way, and it's bad that I have to say this, you have to react a certain way that you don't get the worst of it. Because it comes to the point of where people of color, especially black men and even black women, they don't want to get pulled over by the cops. And if they get pulled over by the cops, you can't talk out the side of your neck. You can't have an attitude, because these cops have so much power now. And like, the government keeps passing bills to protect them even more from the people that they're supposed to be protecting, but they're not protecting us. And I'm not gonna say this is all cops, because it's definitely not all cops, not at all. But you got those certain ones that shouldn't even gotten to the academy, and they made it, and they are the worst because they're on a power trip. They know about their privilege. They are all about giving social injustices. They're all about going into stereotypes. Like, you can't, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, guys, this is going to be a little bit longer one because these topics are a little bit more passionate to me. I think about these topics a lot. So I think we may be on social justice for a while. I might switch into culture next week, but definitely understand social justice will always be talked about on this channel. If you have any comments, let me know. What do you think about social justice? What do you think about privilege? What do you think about oppression? How are, in your mind, because I explain how I think bias and prejudice is created. How do you think it was created? And what suggestions would you have for us to overcome it? All right, guys, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I do upload Think Deep videos every Sunday. I just want us to think more about the bigger questions in today's world instead of going through emotions. So I look forward to seeing you in the next one.